The oomycetes, also known as water moles, are a group of several hundred organisms that include some of the most devastating plant pathogens. The disease they cause include seedling blights, damping off, root rots, foliar blights, and downy mildews. Some notable diseases are the late blight of potato, downy mildew of grapevine, sudden oak death, and root rot and stem rot of soya bean. Because of their flumendous growth habit, nutrition by absorption, and reproduction via spores, oomycetes were long recorded by plant pathologists as lower fungi. Morphological characteristics of oomycetes. One of the most distinguished characteristics is the production of zoospore produced in sporangia. The anterior flagellum of a zoospore is a tinsel type, while the posterior flagellum is a whiplash type. Both are typically attached in a ventral groove. Although wall-less zoospore retain a consistent but flexible shape, zoospores can swim in water films on leaf surfaces, in soil water, in hydroponic media, and in natural bodies of water. We will see some of the genera in various order. Under subclass Peronosporomycetidae, the important order is Peronosporales. For this we can quote example as many genera of downy mildew and albugo. Next order Pythiales. For this we can quote example as Pythium and Phytophthora. The next subclass Saprolagenomycetidae. Under this important order is Saprolagenales. For this we can quote example as Aponomyces. The next order Sclerosporales. Under this we can quote example as downy mildew of the Poaceae such as Scleropora, Peronosclerospora, Scleropthora. Order Salilagenidiales, we can quote example as Legina. Now we will see about Pythium species. Pythium species is ubiquitous in soil and aquatic environment and has a global distribution. The species of this genus are important plant pathogens, inflicting serious economic losses on a wide variety of crops. Pythium insidiosum, the genus is represented by about 92 species which are cosmopolitan in distribution. The species may be aquatic, terrestrial, or amphibious in habit. About 28 species of Pythium have been reported from India. The fungus is facultative parasite and lives saprophytically on the moist humus in soil and attacks seedling at the soil level. Thereafter, it lives as parasite. It also grows readily on floating vegetable matter and decaying animal. Damping of soft rot, wheat rot or the foot rot of the seedling are common diseases caused by the fungus. Pythium dipverianum causes damping of diseases of tobacco, mustard, chilies and crust seedlings. Excessive moisture, presence of too much decaying matter in the soil, overcrowding of the seedling and insufficient exposure to air and light are the predisposing causes for this disease to appear. Symptom due to Pythium infection. Young seedlings are affected near the ground level. Initially, no external symptom of its presence are noticeable on the host, but after it has gained a firm hold, the seedlings become pale green and show a weak shriveled place of grilled of brown color on the stem near the surface of the soil. At this point, the cortical cells are killed, making the tissue weak. The infected tissues appear soft and water soaked. Infected seedlings collapse. The upper part of the seedling bends or topples over in a characteristic manner. This peculiar symptom of this disease is known as damping off. Reproduction in Pythium. The fungus reproduces by asexual and sexual methods. First, we will see the asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction takes place by the formation of sporangia. Sporangia may be terminal or intercalary in position and are produced on the aerial hyphae. There are no specialized sporangiosperms to produce sporangia. The terminal or intercalary position of a hyphae enlarges and becomes spherical and starts off function as sporangial initially. It gets cut off from rest of the mycelium by a transverse septum. Sporangia are multinucleate and may be filamentous, tubular or globose in shape. Sporangia germinate indirectly or directly. In indirect germination, under favorable condition, sporangia behave as zoosporangia and produce zoospores. Sporangium germinates by germ tube or by forming a hypha. Both terminate into a thin walled vesicle. The cleavage of cytoplasm to form zoospores begins within the sporangium but completes within the vesicle. 8 to 20 zoospores are formed within the vesicle. The vesicle wall bursts like a soap bubble and the zoospore move in all directions. Sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction is oogamous and occurs under unfavorable conditions at the end of the growing season of the fungus. Pythium is homothallic, that means male and female sex organs develop in close proximity of each other either on the same or different hypha embedded in the host tissue. However, some species are heterothallic. Example, Pythium heterothallicum, Pythium sylvaticum. Male and female sex organs are called antheridia and oogonia respectively. Antheridium. Each antheridium is club shaped, paragynous and multinucleate. It arises as branch of the stalk of the oogonium or on separate hypha. Male branch gets slightly inflated at the tips. A transverse septum appears between the inflated portion and rest of the hypha. The inflated portion is called antheridium. On maturity, all antheridial nuclei except one degenerate and the surviving nucleus is called functional nucleus. Many antheridia are sometimes seen in association with one oogonium. It is a globous, spherical, smooth-walled structure. It develops at the tip of hypha. Sometimes it is also intercalary in position. The tip of the hypha swells up and it soon cuts off from the main hypha by the formation of a septum. On maturity, its protoplasm is differentiated into outer thin spongy portion lining the oogonial wall. The periplasm and the inner granular denser rounded portion, the ooplasm or oosphere. The ooplasm contains a single female nucleus, while the other nuclei within the periplasm degenerate. Fertilization. As antheridium matures, it bends towards the oogonium, to which it applies itself closely. The wall of the antheridium and oogonium dissolves at the point of contact Antheridium developed a fine fertilization tube or penetration tube which penetrates the periplasm and reaches the ooplasm. The functional male nucleus enters the oogonium through fertilization tube and fuses with the female nucleus and forms a diploid zygotic nucleus. The oospore. The zygote nucleus secretes a thick double wall and called oospore. The outer wall is thick and is called exine, while the inner wall is thin and is called intine. The oospore is a resting spore. It is filled with plenty of reserved food material. Germination of oospore. Oospore germinates in the presence of moisture. The exine ruptures and intine comes out in the form of a germ tube. The zygotic nucleus divides. The first division is meiosis. However, according to Sansom in the year 1961-1963, the meiosis occur in the oogonia and antheridia of Pythium diperianum. If the temperature is high, that means 28 degrees centigrade, the germ tube directly develops into mycelium. However, if the temperature is low, that means 10 to 17 degrees centigrade, and enough moisture is available, the contents of the oospore migrate into the sporangium through the germ tube. The sporangium behaves like a zoosporangium and produces zoospore as in asexual reproduction. Sometimes zoospores are directly formed inside the oospore. They are later on liberated in a vesicle. Sometimes zoosporangium gets detached and behaves like conidium. Phytophthora infestans. This is the potato lead blight pathogen. This is the pathogen that caused the Irish potato famine in the mid 19th century. It is a fungi of the genus Phytophthora or worldwide known as primary parasite of fine roots and causal agents of root and collar rods and bark hangers on young and mature specimens of hundreds of tree and shrub species. Many Phytophthora species belongs to the most aggressive and most important plant pathogens of the world. As a consequence of the root and bark damages, the crown of the affected trees develop typical symptom. Example, increased transparency, sparse ramification and stunted growth of lateral twigs leading to whip-like branch structure and clustering of leaves at the end of branches. And finally, small size and often chlorotic foliage, dieback of branches and crown dieback. Phytophthora infestans is an aerial pathogen, that is, it infects and reproduces mainly on the above ground portion of the host. Sporangia are dehiscent, that means detach easily when mature and under cloudy condition can survive transit sufficiently long to travel many kilometers in moving bodies of air. The pathogen is favored by moist, cool environments. Sporulation is optimum at 12 to 18 degrees centigrade in water saturated or nearly saturated environments, and zoospore production is favored at temperatures below 15 degrees centigrade. Lesion growth rates are typically optimal at a slightly warmer temperature ranging from 20 to 24 degrees centigrade. Under favorable condition, the asexual life cycle can be completed within as few as 4 days, but symptom may not be visible for the first 2 to 3 days after initial infection. The dominant influence of weather on the infection and sporulation process of Phytophthora infestans has caused investigators to develop various forecasts for lead blight. These investigations have resulted in algorithms which identify whether that has been favorable for late blight and allow growers to predict conditions that are likely to encourage or enhance infection. The explosive potential of this pathogen is legendary, dramatic and real. When the disease is uncontrolled and when environmental conditions are favorable to the pathogens, fields of 10 to 40 acres will succumb to this disease within just a few days. The general susceptibility of potatoes and tomatoes have stimulated much effort to develop resistant plants as well as to understand the pathogenicity of Phytophthora infestans. Single large effect genes for resistant, that is OR genes, have been identified and deployed. Unfortunately, because of variation in the pathogen population, the effect of these genes has not been long lasting. OR genes recognize specific components of pathogen proteins, that is called effectors, that are injected into the host cell. Mutation in these effectors can enable the pathogen to escape recognition and avoid the resistant mechanism. There have also been efforts made to create resistant plants based on a less well understood mechanism that may involve many genes. The mechanism has been termed field or partial resistance. However, the most popular cultivars of potatoes and tomatoes are quite susceptible, necessitating the use of fungicide to protect plants. Effective disease suppression requires a strategy integrating several tactics because infected seed tubers can be a source of the pathogen. It is important to plant only healthy seed tubers. It is also important to eliminate any tubers that might have survived from one cropping season to the next. Whether these tubers survived in soil after harvest or were discarded after storage. Some Solanaceous weeds can also harbor the pathogen, and any infected weeds in or near the crop need to be eliminated. Fungicides are used in connection with a good scouting program, and application timing and rates are often aided by an appropriate forecast. Symptoms of albugo. The disease caused by albugo is commonly known as white rust because it appears in the form of shiny, white, smooth, irregular patches or blisters on the leaves, stem and other aerial parts of the plant. The pustules are initially formed on the lower surface of the leaf, but in several cases they may be present on both the surfaces. Reproduction in albugo. Fungus reproduces both by asexual and sexual methods. First, we will see the asexual reproduction. The asexual reproduction takes place by conidia, conidiosporangia or zoosporangia. They are produced on the sporangiospores. Under suitable condition, the mycelium grows and branches rapidly. After attaining a certain age of maturity, it produces a dense mat-like growth just beneath the epidermis of the host. These hyphae produced at right angles to the epidermis are short, thick-walled, unbranched and club-shaped. These are the sporangiospores or conidiospores. They form a solid palisade-like layer beneath the epidermis. They are thick-walled on lateral sides and thin-walled at the tip. The sporangiospores contain dense cytoplasm and about a dozen nuclei. After reaching certain stage of maturity, the apical portion of sporangiospore gets swollen and is cut off as sporangium or conidium. This process is repeated several times. The new nuclei migrates from mycelium to cytoplasm and are used in the formation of another sporangium or conidium. Thus, a long chain of sporangia or conidia is formed above each sporangiospore in basipetal succession. The sporangia or conidia are spherical, smooth, hyaline and multinucleate structure. The walls between them fuse to form a gelatinous disc like a structure called disjunctor or separation disc or intercalary disc or isthmus. It tends to hold the sporangia together. The continued growth and production of sporangia exerts a pressure upon the enveloping epidermis, which is firstly raised up but finally ruptured, exposing the underlying source containing white powdery dust of multinucleate sporangia or conidia. The separation discs are dissolved by water and the sporangia are set free. They are blown away in the air by wind or washed away by rainwater under suitable environmental condition and falling on a suitable host. Sporangia germinates within 2 or 3 hours. The sporangia germinate directly or indirectly depending on temperature conditions. Zoospores. The zoospores are uninucleate, slightly concavo-convex and 5-flagellate. The flagella are attached laterally near the vacuole. Of the 2 flagella, one is of whiplash type and the other tinsel type. After swimming for some time in water, they settle down on the host. They retract their flagella, secrete a wall and undergo a period of encystment. On germination, they put out a short germ tube which enters the host through stomata or again infects the healthy plants. Sexual reproduction in albugo. It takes place when the growing season comes to an end. The mycelium penetrates into the deeper tissue of the host. The sexual reproduction is highly oogamous type. The antheridium and oogonium develops deeper in the host tissue in close association within the intercellular spaces. Its formation is externally indicated by hypertrophy. The antheridium and oogonium are formed near each other on hyphal branches. They are terminal in position, however intercalary oogonia also occur, though rarely. Antheridium. It is elongated and club-shaped structure. It is multinucleate, but only one nucleus remains functional at the time of fertilization in Albugocandidus. However, in Cryptophis blighti and Cryptophis fortilis, it is multinucleate at the time of fertilization and all the nuclei remain functional. It is paragynous, that is laterally attached to the oogonium. It is separated by a cross wall from the rest of the male hyphae, oogonium. It is spherical and multinucleate containing as many as 65 to 150 nuclei. All nuclei are evenly distributed throughout the cytoplasm. As the oogonium reaches towards the maturity, the contents of the oogonium get organized into an outer peripheral region of periplasm and the inner dense central region of ooplasm or oosphere or the egg. The ooplasm and periplasm are separated by a plasma membrane. The nuclei in the oogonium divide mitotically. The first mitotic division takes place before the organization of the periplasm and ooplasm. After the organization, all the nuclei of the ooplasm except one migrate to the periplasm, forming a ring and undergo second mitotic division. They divide in such a manner that one pole of each spindle is in ooplasm and the other in the periplasm. At the end of the division, one daughter nucleus of each spindle goes to the ooplasm and the other in periplasm. However, at the time of maturity, all nuclei disintegrate except single functional nucleus. On the basis of functional nuclei in ooplasm, albugo is divided into two groups. Group 1, the number of functional egg nuclei in ooplasm is 1. It is represented by Cystophus trachophoconis, Cystophus candidus, Cystophus evolvuli. In group 2, the number of functional eggs in ooplasm is many. It is represented by Cystophus platy and Cystophus portulaceae. It has been observed that in Cystophus portulaceae and Cystophus platy, nearly 60 nuclei accumulate in the ooplasm, and after fertilization they fuse with male nuclei. However, in Cystophus trachophoconis, about 100 female nuclei are present in the oosphere, but only one functional. The rest of the nuclei disintegrate before fertilization. Fertilization. Before fertilization, a deeply staining mass of cytoplasm appears almost in the center of the ooplasm. This is called xenocentrum. It persists only up to the time of fertilization. The functional female nucleus attracted towards it and becomes attached to a point near it. The oogonium develops a papillae-like outgrowth at the point of contact with the antheridium. This is called as receptive papillae. Soon it disappears and the antheridium develops a fertilization tube. It penetrates through receptive papilla, oogonial wall and periplasm, and finally reach up to ooplasm. It carries a single male nucleus. Its tip ruptures to discharge male nucleus near the female nucleus. Ultimately, the male nucleus fuses with the female nucleus. Now we will see the oospore in albugo. The oospore along with the fusion nucleus is called oospore. In Cystophus trachophoconis and Cystophus candidus, one male functional nucleus fuses with one female functional nucleus. So, the oospore is uninucleate. However, in Cystophus portulaceae and Cystophus platy, oospore is multinucleate consisting of nearly 60 functional nuclei. The same number of functional male nuclei are discharged by the fertilization tube. Both male and female nuclei fuse and the oospore produced in this species in multinucleate condition. Such oospore is called a compound oospore. Germination occurs in oospore of albugo. With the secretion of the wall, the zygotic nucleus divides repeatedly to form about 32 nuclei. The first division is meiotic. At this stage, oospore undergoes a long period of rest until unfavorable condition area over. Meanwhile, its host tissues disintegrate, leaving the oospore free. After a long period of rest, the oospore germinates. Its nuclei divide mitotically and large number of nuclei are produced. A small amount of cytoplasm gathers around each nucleus. Protoplasm undergoes segmentation. Germination of zoospore. The zoospores are reniform and 5-flagellate. Of the two safe flagella, long one is whiplash type and short one is of tinsel type. The zoospores, after swimming for some time, encyst and germinate by a germ tube which renifers the host plant. Summary. Fungi and oomycetes are the two most important groups of eukaryotic plant pathogens. Fungi form a separate kingdom and are evolutionarily related to animals. The oomycetes, also known as water moles, are a group of several hundred organisms that include some of the most devastating plant pathogens. In spite of the distinct evolutionary origin of the two groups, fungi and oomycetes use infection strategies were much in common. The diseases they cause include ceiling blights, Pythium species are ubiquitous in soil and aquatic environments and have a global distribution. The species of this genus are important plant pathogen inflicting serious economic losses on a wide variety of crops. The genus is represented by about 92 species which are cosmopolitan in distribution. The species may be aquatic, terrestrial or amphibious in habitat. Phytophthora infestan is an aerial pathogen, that is, it infects and reproduces mainly on the above ground portion of its host. Sporangia or dehiscent, that means detach easily when mature and under cloudy condition can survive transit sufficiently long to travel many kilometers in moving bodies of air. Finally, albugo is commonly known as white rust because it appears in the form of shiny white smooth irregular patches that mean pustules. The pustules are initially formed on the lower surface of the leaf, but in several cases they may be present on both the surfaces.